Guys, hope everyone is doing great. There is an old saying, friends like them, who needs enemies? Could anything be more accurate than that statement in the Kiley Rodney case? Let's look at the people that surrounded Kiley that she considered her friends. First, we have Magdalene, who was Kiley's best friend since they were 12 years old. They met at the age of 12 and instantly they were besties. Well, according to Mags, she went to the party with Kiley, but when she arrived, she was surrounded by a group of, young men or teenagers who were trying to pressure her into doing substances. And so she made the decision that she was going to leave after just 10 minutes. Now, it's kind of odd the way she tells the story, because I'm picturing that she's just standing there minding her own business right after her arrival to this party, when all of a sudden this group of boys come up, wielding their, and, trying to force her to take them. It's just an image I don't picture as being very realistic, but that's what she says happened. But my question is, well, if it was that intense that you left after only 10 minutes, why would you leave your best friend behind? Did she try to get Kiley to leave and Kiley just insisted on staying? Oh no, you go. I'm fine. I've got this. I can handle these wielding piranhas. I'll be okay. All we know is, according to Mags, she arrived, she stayed 10 minutes, and she left, and she knows nothing else. As a matter of fact, Mags's mom even came out and made a statement. And in that statement, which seems like she also subscribes to the notion that it was just an accident, she goes on to say that Kiley was very intoxicated and shouldn't have been driving that evening, that she wouldn't have been able to drive due to her inebriation. Well, that's interesting because you, madam, were not at the party. And according to your daughter, she was only present for 10 minutes. So your information is just as much speculation as any of us on YouTube, really. So that's nor here nor there. But I just thought it was interesting that she was so matter of fact in her statement. So that's Max. Then, of course, we have Jagger the ex, who claims that even though he was the ex, he very much stayed in Kiley's life after their relationship dissolved. And matter of fact, they still even went on dates from time to time, and that they were still good friends and that he was still very much in love with her. But as of recently, there has been some chirping that Jagger might be quite the Don Juan, that he may have been having relations with not only Kiley, but several of her friends. Now, of course, we don't know if that is absolutely true. We're going to get to it in a minute, but we don't know if that's true. But if it is, then gross to all of, your online overdoing of how in love you were with her, if in fact you were just kind of making your rounds within that group, whatever. Then there is Kate, Miss Kate. So allegedly, and this is just what is being said, a YouTuber released information and some screenshots that may or may not be real. You know how the internet is. But allegedly, somebody, some stranger, reached out to Kate on Snapchat and struck up conversation with her and I guess some kind of online friendship. And at some point, Kate sent or showed pictures to this person on Snapchat of Jagger getting dressed after their little rendezvous, and that she stated that she was involved with him. So this YouTuber reached out to Kate and asked about this person. Now, it's interesting in Kate's responses because she does say it's BS once. She does say that. She doesn't say specifically what part of it is BS, but she does say it's BS. But all the other replies from Kate basically are just kind of beating around the bush. She admits to having struck up this conversation with this person. She doesn't deny that this person, in fact, reached out to her and that they talked back and forth. She even says, I won't be answering any more DMs, because apparently the way I took it was that she was like upset or annoyed that this person went public with these conversations, and I would be too. But when asked about the photo and her sending the photo to this person of Jagger getting dressed after they had their little thingy, Kate doesn't say that would be impossible because I never did that or there was no picture. What she says is, can you show me the picture? And then goes on to say, well, the picture would have been deleted. Meaning, because it's Snapchat, so the picture would have, I don't have Snapchat, but I kind of know how it works. The picture is there and then it's gone. So it was just interesting to watch Kate's replies. It wasn't like she was boiling over, like, I cannot believe somebody would even insinuate that I would do something like that to my friend Kiley. That absolutely never happened. She doesn't say things like that. She's just kind of like, well, the picture would have been deleted, but I won't be answering any more DMs. It's just a little odd. And then, of course, we have Sammy. And what can we say about Sammy? Sammy, the really good friend who really might not even be her friend, depending on who you talk to, what their relationship ever really was, is really up in the air. It's anybody's guess at this point. You have other friends like Kate saying they weren't even really friends. And then you have Sammy, who is like the poster child now for the whole entire case, saying, I was her good friend and I will, talk to all the witnesses and I will filter through all of the evidence. It's just bizarre. But same token, you also have Sammy, who, before this poor child's autopsy is even done, was already back out partying, laughing, whooping it up, going wild, like carefree. Couldn't even guess that this is somebody who just lost a dear friend. Now, whatever, she's young and people grieve differently and life goes on, and you can say a lot of things about it, but I think watching her behavior, specifically her behavior with alcohol, following an event that, even if it was an accident, an event involving alcohol that just took the life of a dear friend, it just seems strange. It's not even like she's drinking like emotional tears coming down her face. She's like, ah, back down, by the water, not the water, but close by, in the hot tub, doing this, doing that, according to the Vemos, hosting or playing poker, it is just a lot. It's a lot. Sammy's a lot. Sammy is a lot. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of any of it. But I will say this. They are young. Some of them younger than others. And we really can only speculate on everything that they say and everything that they do, because there is sometimes just no rhyme or reason to how young people act. The strange thing to me of all of this is when you look at Sammy, your first impression is that she's a bully. And she may not be, but I just get that vibe from her that she, is a force to be reckoned with. And maybe some of the other kids just don't really want to go up against her. So whatever narrative she gives, whatever story she lays out for what happened that night is the one that people are just going to go with. And that's that. Then her version of events kind of got corroborated by the Jane Doe #1 and the Jane Doe #2. And somebody wrote in one of my comments yesterday when I talked about Jane Doe #2 that they believe that that actually was Sammy, that anonymous party goer who gave their version of events that just happened to align with Sammy's version of things. I don't believe that it was Sammy, but I did go back and listen to it after somebody kind of put that in my head. I would not be surprised if it's somebody that is very close to Sammy, somebody that is either a really good friend to Sammy or, somebody who wants to be Sammy's, friend, very, very much follows Sammy. So I'm not really sure. I think that that is a possibility, certainly. But, we don't know because the person spoke anonymously. But when you look at how Kate was very quick in the beginning to say that her and Sammy weren't really even friends, that was a very bold thing for her to say and to contradict Sammy. And we actually saw pictures of Sammy and Kate in the same little groups, not like partying or whatever. I'm talking like the search time and just photographs of all that was going on right after that. So, that was very, very bold of Kate to do. Now, maybe it was just, it was a Freudian slip. She just said it and didn't really think about it at the time. And probably after was like, I shouldn't have said that. I don't want to go as far as saying maybe that the other kids are afraid of Sammy. I don't want to say that, but we don't know the dynamics of these kids, and we don't know how much of a leader Sammy really is because nobody else is really speaking up or speaking against her. They're also not really speaking for her. It's just odd, I mean, there's a lot of people at that party, and with all of the backlash that Sammy has gotten, not even just people coming out against her, aren't you surprised that people aren't coming out and being like, you know what, you need to lay off Sammy because I was there and what she said is exactly what happened. Nobody's saying much either way. Well, except for Kiley's mother. Kiley's mother is about the only person that I've seen rushing to Sammy's defense. Odd in itself, probably. We'll talk about that another time in another video. We've talked about it before, I don't know how many more times I can say it. I find the woman's behavior odd. I find her protection of Sammy and the other kids absolutely bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. But tell me your thoughts on Kiley's friends. Where are her true friends? Did she ever have any? I mean, yeah, I don't know, Mags. I don't. And from what I heard, they were like soul sisters. They were like besties from the moment that they met at 12 years old. I find it odd that she left the party and describes the reason that she left, was these drug-wielding maniacs that, were forcing themselves almost on her, that she just had to get out of there, but that she would leave Kiley behind. Now, Kiley's her own person. Maybe she did try to get her to leave, and maybe Kiley said, no, I'm fine, I want to stay. But she doesn't tell us that, I think a lot of them, probably even if they're innocent, are just embarrassed and feeling guilty for leaving her behind and leaving her there. It's always a possibility, but I just find it weird. Find it even weirder that Kate has gone silent. If this were my best friend, or just even a really good friend, you would not be able to stop me. Even at that age, I can remember being that age, and we did a lot of stupid stuff. Stuff that, when I think back, I'm like, what was wrong with me? Like, did I have a screw loose? But I know that we were protective of one another. probably more even then than as an adult, because we would have jeopardized our own safety at that age, right? For your friends, like they're everything. You're like a little pack of wolves, your friends are everything. You're at that age where you've kind of distanced yourself from the adult and, you're very close to that peer group to almost like to a nutty point. They're the only people you want to be around, morning, noon, and night, and you're very protective of one another, or at least that's how we were, and I would hope that that's how a lot of kids are. Where are Kylie's true friends? The ones to really speak on her behalf, the ones that would have never left her behind. I mean, you got Sammy saying, oh yeah, my God, she was so drunk, I could not even let her drive me home because I'm like super important, so like my safety was important, but like, I don't know. I thought she might just spend the night there. You thought she might just spend the night there completely drunk? A party where you, Sammy, are telling us about all the sketchy people that showed up and how it grew really big and almost out of control. And there were all these people there that aren't normally at any of your parties. They came from all over. I thought she might just spend the night there. Are you kidding me? So you had no idea if she was going home, if she was sleeping completely drunk and vulnerable at a campground with a bunch of strangers, males that you've never met before. Scary, 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 scary. Please have a conversation with your teenagers. Please, 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 please. Even if you think your teenager doesn't drink, even if you think they don't attend parties, just please talk to them anyway, because kids do stuff and live like a whole other life and world that we either don't know about or they think we don't know about. Have conversation with them, because that is so freaking scary that this girl was left behind. This is just, it's outrageous. It's outrageous, and also makes me think it's just not true. I don't think it's true. I don't think that these kids would have left her there in that condition. I don't believe it. Unless they help put her in that position. Oh, did I just say that out loud? Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. Because it's infuriating. It's infuriating. It's sad and it's infuriating. Tell me what you think. Bye.